Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 1 Point Safety Show. Thank you for joining us. We are delighted to be joined by a special guest, Andy Burrows of the Commander Bunker podcast. How are you, Andy?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It seems fantastic to be on your guys' show. This show is flying, mate. So it's my absolute honour to join you, and obviously my fellow co-host down there. He's moonlighting, but yeah, it's good.
That is it, man. That is it.
It's good. No, it's always good. So I've kind of taken a little bit of a backward step, Commanders, this week. I'm trying not to get involved in the whole Twitter arguments about everything. But when you guys ask me to come on, you're never saying no to you two. So happy to be here.
Perfect, thank you. And I'm obviously joined, as always, by my co-host, Scouse Andy Lockout. How are you? Are you all right, Andy?
Yeah, usual grind, usual weekly grinds.
That's it. Life gets in the way sometimes.
Bad, man. It's not too bad. I mean, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, good. Well, thank you for being with us. We really appreciate you taking the time to get on. Both
to finally
of you.
show up. Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. Life gets in the way.
He might even turn up to the bunker on Sunday. You never know.
I might. Just depends if you let me in. You know what I mean? Depends if you let me in.
As long as that beer fridge is stocked, Andy.
Oh, yeah. Freddie's in charge of that. Freddie's in charge of that.
That's cool.
Let me down last week. That's why I didn't show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, boys, quite a quiet week in the world of Commanders, really. We've got... we're going to go through the OC hire and go through who we have interviewed, who we haven't interviewed. Other than that, there's not a massive amount of news to go through, really. But I'll go through the list quickly of half the league of who we have gone through. So we'll start off. We've got Pat Shermer. We've got Ken Zampese, internal hire potentially there as our quarterbacks coach. We've got Charles London. We've got Eric Studesville from Miami. We've got Thomas Brown from the LA Rams. And we've also been linked quite heavily with Greg Roman, who's just been fired from Baltimore, Jim Caldwell, and we've asked permission to speak to Anthony Lynn, the 49ers assistant head coach and running backs coach. Anyone stand out for you on that list then, Scouse?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. You see, you've either got ultra experienced guys but have kind of failed, or you've got ridiculously new guys who've got no experience, and then you're thinking, we've just done that with Scott Turner. Do you know what I mean? He had no experience as being an offensive coordinator. So you're kind of thinking, well, do you want to go down the experience route? And I think they might actually go down the experience route. I think out of those lists, if you're going to pick one, you'd probably pick Greg Roman, to be fair, because he has actually done it before. He has actually developed quarterbacks in his career as well. So he even made Case Keenum look good, for one season. He didn't look like a natural starter, which is obviously a virtual miracle worker. So maybe he can do something for our guys. I don't know, but besides that, those guys, nah, you're all right. I'll pass.
I think the one that intrigues me the most is probably Eric Studesville from Miami. He's got links to Ron through, I believe, Ron's wife, and his wife used to be playing basketball together.
We are reaching.
No, but
keys in a bowl.
I think that Ron's wife, yeah, exactly.
That's like a fifth round pick. He reached in the first round. That's what you did with that.
Yeah. Pampas grass outside and all that stuff. Yeah, we know the score there.
Madness.
But yeah, I think the link there, the tenuous link we've got there to that one is that I think coach's wife was his wife's basketball coach or something. I don't know the ins and outs of it.
That's what I'm saying. That's a stretch, man.
It is a stretch. Anthony Lynn will be quite interesting. I mean, we'll see what we get from that. Obviously, he's been a head coach before at the Chargers for 3 seasons, so he's got the experience of being a head coach as well. So that one intrigues me.
But again, you're taking the risk, though, aren't you?
You are taking the risk.
If you're Anthony Lynn, I mean, you're taking a risk there. And I know you want to try and get back into, you want to get back into probably being a head coach at some point. But to be fair, Ron probably is on the hot seat as well. So it could make sense for him. It
could make sense.
But it just depends though how good he is, because and does he believe in himself? Because he's got 1 year to basically say to these new owners, "Hey, I'm the bollocks." You know what I mean? So, and if he can't do that, then he'd go along out with Ron at the end of next season.
So here's one for Andy Burrows here then. So do you think this is an interesting job as the OC? Because obviously I've heard a lot being said, and I've seen rankings of coaches, because it looks like half the league's either got a defensive coordinator or an offensive coordinator opening somewhere along the line. And I think I've seen that it's the fifth best rated job that's on the open market. And obviously, do you think that we've got a lame duck coaching staff here that would if you're getting someone experienced, it's almost a retread, or someone Ron knows and trusts for that year? What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are I need to get a new camera for my laptop. Do you know how I see this? And if my camera cuts out again, I'll just put it off.
Don't worry.
Do you know how I see the OC job in Washington? Right. When it comes to quarterbacks and stuff like that, we always say that we don't want to see another veteran anymore. We need. So the way I see the OC job right now is I flip it. I see the OC job. Think of a young guy when you started out at work. You're starting out as a young apprentice, which, i.e., when you use Sam Howell as that example. For that young apprentice to learn, he's going to want someone with a bit of experience. I want us to draft someone who is kind of a bit of both. I want us to draft someone to get someone in that's going to have the experience, but isn't a complete dinosaur, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I just don't want someone that's like, well, this is the 1988 playbook, and this is how we're gonna, one of them kind of things.
That's Pat Shermer, that I think.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. With Shermer and someone like that, don't get me wrong, I don't know loads about all these people, but the ones I do know about is we seem to be playing it safe. So the way I see Sam Howell is he is the apprentice. You know what I mean? He's a young dude who's just coming to the NFL, and as good as you are in college football, and I think I said this in our group chat yesterday when I was chatting to you two, the jump from college football to the NFL is huge. Absolutely huge. Don't get me wrong. The whole Purdy story this season is great, and it's sometimes when it works, it works. So what I want to see from our OC is I want us to maybe I'm not talking the veteran, but someone that knows, been there, done it. We took a chance with Scott, didn't work. He might go somewhere else. He could go to he could go to the Panthers, and he becomes a great OC. So for argument's sake, so the way that I see Washington is that you need to get all the bits in place. Using Sam Howell as the example, if you've got that young apprentice, you're going to need someone that's been there, done it, and simplifies the playbook for him. I think me and Andy were talking about this when we had our bunker podcast, the last one. The Washington playbook last season seems to be one of the hardest in the league to learn. Don't get me wrong, it's the NFL. I don't expect the playbooks to be Terry McLaurin's getting there, he's turning left, you're throwing him the ball. I don't expect it to be that easy. Okay. But I want someone that can put this in simplified terms for Sam Howell at the start and say, look, we're not going to make this rocket science for you. This is our playbook. This is what I want you to sit down from whenever he's appointed, say February to training camp. This is what I want you to learn. It's nothing crazy. Yes, it's an NFL playbook. It's nothing out there. But for all I'm hearing from what Scott Turner was and what previous years in Washington has gone, quarterbacks look at that playbook and they're like, what? It's one of the hardest playbooks to understand. So I want us to have an OC that can adapt to it. It's important that the OC always adapts to the quarterback and the quarterback adapts to the OC, because if them two aren't on the same page, forget it. Nothing will happen. And I guarantee, agree with that. Yeah, us three will be sitting here this time next year going, oh, well, we're looking for another OC, or, that OC got that head coach fired, and that caught Sam Howell. Sam Howell's now out of the league, and God knows where he's gone. So, yeah, you have to mirror them up. So as good as it is appointing the OC, and the thing that worries me is if you don't know who your quarterback is, how are you appointing the OC? Because most people, when they appoint an OC, think, right, this is my quarterback. This is the system I want him to play. And it's all right saying, well, that OC has to adapt to whoever we bring in. But if we go out and bring in another dinosaur QB, who's whoever we're going to bring in. I mean, it's God knows. We've been linked with quite a few. If you bring in someone like Aaron Rodgers in, then my argument goes completely out the window, because you're bringing in an absolute legend QB. I've heard things like Tom Brady. I don't want that. Our OC has to come in and adapt to our quarterback, and our quarterback has to adapt to our OC. And them two literally have to be best friends, joint at the hip, know everything that's going on in the organization. And I think that's what we've been missing from Washington. I think they've just gone, oh, well, here's Carson Wentz, Scott Turner, you two get on. Here's Alex Smith, you two get on. It's so important that we get this right in this offseason. moving forward, because I do not want to be sitting here this time next year and we're going, oh, Scott, Andy, here we go again. You know what I mean? We're looking for another OC. We're trying to, we're drafting a QB. Merry-go-rounds with Washington. I want to see us as an organization get this appointment right. Don't appease anyone. Don't think you've got to appoint someone just to appease the fan base. Get it right for the football that you want to play. But like Andy said on our last show, if you've got a lame duck coach, OCs are going to be thinking, I'm really, really going to have to go and win 10, 11 games with Sam Howell. Otherwise, I'm out of a job as well. So that's where I am with it.
And that's the risk you've got. And that's it, is it? And that's why a lot of times you think, well, do you these young lads, are they confident enough? Are they good enough in their own minds to go, you know what, I'll take that chance, I'll take that risk and go, you know what, I'll try, I'll give it that one go. Because as Hartley mentioned before, you know, it meant to be a top 5 job for an offensive coordinator. So if that's the case, then surely you'd want to have a chance at that, you know. But again, getting some of these like guys who are on the up in the NFL already, you're highly unlikely going to get one of those dudes. You know what? I think it was one of the Miami guy.
The one who turned us down.
It's a Bevell or Burrell, something like that.
Yeah.
He went, I'm not even interviewing for you, mate, because I know I'm going to get something else better, which is fair enough.
So who would you rather coach? Would you rather go to coach Justin Herbert at the Chargers, or would you coach Sam Howell? I mean, the other thing we've got to think about here, the other thing we've got to think about here as well is, as we've both alluded to there, you're looking at an OC with potentially a lame duck head coach, and we still don't know what's happening with the ownership of the team, which puts a big spanner in the works as well, because is that new ownership going to come in irrespective of how well Ron does and the team, and says, I'm starting a fresh new page, here we go, moving forward? Because if it was my train set, that's exactly what I want to do. You know, especially if it's someone like a Bezos who hasn't bid on the team, but if it is someone like that, then, or a joint venture between a couple of billionaires, then do they have the funds and the money to pick up a Sean McVay? You know, this is all and
are they
questions.
And what kind of owner are they going to be? Are they going to be the kind of owner that says, Ron, you won't even see me, you won't hear me, you won't see me, you just come to my office, you tell me how much money you need, I'll sign the checks? Or are we going to get an owner in that says, hi, look at me, I'm owning a fresh, brand new, shiny toy in an NFL organization. I want to know the OC, I want to know the head coach. And they're well within their rights.
Get in the way. Exactly. Get in the way. Just like Snyder did.
Don't get me wrong. You know. Don't get me wrong. We see that over here with our football team. Some chairmen are really good, and they'll work with their manager, and in the NFL, they'll work with their head coach. If that's the case, then that's great. And I'm all for that. If we get a shiny new owner in that comes in and thinks, no, I am the be all and end all. I am Dan Snyder 2.0. And when I say that, I don't mean all the other stuff outside of football. I mean, he's saying it's either my way or the highway. So Ron, you're appointing him, and you're appointing him, and he's doing this, this, and this. That could happen in Washington. The new owner could come in. If it's Bezos, never owned an NFL team, I'm just using him as an example. Could be Jay-Z. I mean, if someone like Jay-Z come in, he's going to let Ron get on with it. He's literally going to be the money man. He's going to say to like whoever he's in cahoots with, whoever he's in partnership with, will say to Ron, that's the worry we have. You can interview, and it looks like we've interviewed half the league. You can interview as many people as you want. In the back of their mind, if it's a veteran guy, they might think, you know, I'll come for a payday. You might get a young gun who goes, you know what, I'll use Washington as a stepping stone and a bit of experience. In a season, I might be out. We're kind of rock between a hard place right now with everything that we do. And yeah, it looks like, and I mean, I go on Washington Twitter most days and read what we're doing. It's like, well, we've interviewed this person, we interviewed that person. Ask yourself why no one's even looked, no one's come out or maybe been appointed yet. Because when you know, you know. And Ron, and like when Andy, we had Jason Wright on our podcast. He said him and Ron sit down and make a 3-year plan. They know right now, as soon as Scott Turner went, and it's probably been in Ron Rivera's mind for a long time, they know who they want to have appointed. It either tells me, A, that person isn't available right now, or B, that person says, thanks, but no thanks.
Couldn't agree more with
100%. Yeah, 100%, man.
Go on, Scouts.
No, I mean, you know, you kind of you can't talk some of the ideas for my sizzle later on, but
it's how every Washington, it's kind of,
it is,
Washington
isn't it?
fans are thinking like it, aren't they?
It is that thing, though, isn't it? It's kind of like, well, as you mentioned, it's very, very difficult to get someone to come, and the idea is like saying, well, you know, if you've got as you mentioned before, those guys there who are going to take who's going to take the risk, who's going to really take that risk, and that's got to be somebody that Ron approves of as well, especially if he's not somebody he's used to.
Yeah.
And again, so it's even harder then. And to be fair, we don't even know if they've even actually offered the job to any of them.
We don't even know. The other thing. And then you've got to think to yourself as well. It's the same,
shit, man.
In any business, it's exactly the same. People get in who they know, who they like, who they know are going to deliver for them in any business across the world. And it's got to be exactly the same as the NFL. Unfortunately, it is a bit of nepotism, and we know it happens. We also often see kids of coaches getting in the up on the ladder. I think we've got both Rivera and Adele Rio on our staff as well. So, there is that nepotism factor as well. And Ron will want to know who someone or trust someone who he's worked with in the past. That's where I think he's going to go. That's why I do think we will end up with a veteran person, or this may just be a big smokescreen to get Ken Zampese that job. I don't know, and neither does anyone else. It's all speculation.
Well, to be fair, I think you've got he's the backup plan. I think Zampese, because he's a guy who's like.
Unfortunately, at Washington, we always go with the backup plan, and that goes for our positions, that goes for quarterbacks. Unfortunately, with us, it's like, oh well, he didn't want it. We'll go to Heineke. He's injured. We'll have but that's how we are. That's where we are as an organisation. That's it pains me to say that because I love this team more than anything. But every time I see stuff about this OC, and like you guys have already said, we're kind of like, how are we getting people in this building? Because they might just think, oh, well, we're here for a season, or what's going on with the ownership, or what have Washington got going on this week that's in the news, and am I wanting to move my family here for this crap? It's so many things that factor coming into Washington until this ownership thing is taken care of. And maybe, obviously, the team might know. Dan Snyder might know. Apparently, Scotty screenshotted me something the other day. He's pretty much flying over my house in his private jet. So God knows what's going on.
To be fair, I thought he lived with you nowadays.
Nah, mate. He wanted to host the podcast. I said, no, bro, that's my shit. You ain't me, Freddie, and Andy have got that. You ain't taking that over. So tell me who to book.
I thought you might got you got on his yacht and that. Do you know what I mean? Like
he could afford me.
Podcast from Air Force 2, shall we call it, rather than Air Force 1?
He can't afford me, mate. He can't. But it's catch-22 for us at the minute. You know what I mean? It's so really hard for us until everything's sorted, and hopefully, you know what I mean. Come, what did Tailgate Ted say to us? Be worried if this isn't sorted by March. Because if it isn't sorted by March, then I've read a few things today that Dan Snyder only wants to sell a proportion of the team. The longer this drags on, and that will play on an OC's mind. He's thinking, the longer this drags on, is this somewhere I really want to go?
That's very true.
100%, yeah.
We're almost in mock draft season, but won't get there this time round. We might get onto that in a couple of weeks, Scouse, I think. But we are looking towards the off season, and we're looking towards free agency starting. And obviously one thing that we have got is cap, and we've got the cap space, and we're looking at who we keep, who we don't keep, who we offer contracts to. I've had a quick scout and look at what the contracts are and what the salary cap is. We've held over just over $7 million in cap from this year in going into the 2023 season. And the cap, which is currently set at $208 million, is going to rise to around $225 million. So that gives us a bit of space there. But at the moment, obviously, we're only rocking with just over 7 million. However, we can get to about 55 million if we make some serious cuts within the playing staff. I've had a quick look at it. You're probably going to need about 5-ish to 7 million for your rookies. So I think, boys, we've got about 47 million to play with if we cut these players. And I'll go through the biggest cuts we've got here. So Carson Wentz is a $26 million cap hit. It's quite obvious to every. Yeah. And that's all we need to say. So there's 26 million straight away we can get. The next biggest contract on the list is Kendall Fuller, 8 million. Would you cut Kendall Fuller to save yourself 8 million?
He's Marmite, isn't he? Some people love him, some hate him. I mean, me and Andy have spoke about him and I've done a few times. I mean, it's a tough one.
I mean, he's normally on toast, isn't he? That's the problem. And then he had like a 5 or 6 game where you looked elite, and you're thinking, where's this guy been? We've had this guy for 3 years. Like, where's this guy been? Again, but being that he's so inconsistent, for me, you probably want to get rid of him. Because in the draft, if you're going to go in the draft, I would be looking at corner in first round.
Exactly.
So for me, I'd be getting rid of him personally, or trying to renegotiate with him and try and get him on a lower cap deal or whatever it is. He's still need numbers there because we're very, depth wise, we're shocking.
Yeah, we are
a corner. So, but yeah, then, so he's I think he's a candidate to be restructured. I think personally, rather than cutting him.
I think so too. I think restructuring probably be the way I would go with that one for Fuller. But again, can you get better out there in free agency? I haven't looked at who the free agent corners are at the moment.
Well, you only get what you pay for, mate, don't you?
Yeah,
you get what you pay for.
Money,
and if that's
money,
they're not cheap, bro. It's a premier position.
And at 16, are you going to take one of these big boys, which we've been looked at and mocked to in every single mock draft I think I've looked at so far, pretty much. The next one on the list is Logan Thomas, $5 million.
I will kill you.
I'm sorry, Burrows, but he's gone, lad. He's gone. He's got to go, man. He's just not the same dude. He's not the same dude after that ACL.
I get it. I do get it. But
his blocking's been awful when he came back, man. He's getting blown out by absolute bums. It's just not good. It's just not good, man. He's just not good at the moment.
For me,
I don't think and he's 30 now, only 31, so I don't think he's going to get.
But then who does that leave you with? Who does that leave you with? Bates?
Yeah. Bates and
Coulter,
and Rodgers.
So, and Armani Rodgers, yeah.
Which one of them?
And he looked good actually until he got hurt.
Which one of them three would you have you as your starting tight end?
That's the risk, isn't it? Yeah, you know what I mean.
You know what I mean. So we're already, then again, so that goes. Scott, you might want to go and look at tight ends in the mocks as well, mate. Because
I know, mate.
It's good saying, yeah, get rid of Fuller, get rid of, but then you kind of think, okay, and if you do who's coming in? Because like Scouts, like you just said, our depth, like last season, we were all chatting on game day, and we're looking around going, who's this dude coming on the field? And it's kind of, you might just want to be wary of like, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. It might be good, Fuller. And I've heard people tweeting out today, get rid of Antonio Gibson, get rid of Logan Thomas.
I can't believe that one. I saw that. I was like, what's that about?
Come on, man.
I understand. He plays banged up most of the time. You can tell he's always got some sort of injury every season. But
wait, so
the guy produces, man.
But do you know what I think that is?
Can't get rid of that.
Do you know what I think it is? I think people see other teams do better with lower draft picks and think, why have we still got Antonio Gibson? So let's look at it.
He was only a third rounder.
I know he was top. Look at Isaiah Pacheco, a seventh rounder. Seventh rounder Pacheco. He's doing it.
Pacheco.
Yeah, seventh rounder.
But look at his offensive line. Look at the pieces he's already got there.
And but people
got an elite offensive line. He's got an elite quarterback. It's different there. You know what I mean? Like
our players, whoever we get in, they play
Pacheco in our team. You get nowhere. You get like fucking 2 yards a game max.
And they're probably, if you come to Washington, you'll probably play with 4 quarterbacks by the end of December.
Probably, you're right. Yeah.
Like Scal said, these guys are going into elite setups.
Yeah.
Look at poor old Terry. How many quarterbacks have thrown him the ball since he's been here?
Ridiculous, man.
I don't know.
12 in it, something like that.
I think so.
12 in it, something like that in 3 years. Yeah, it's just mad.
Scouts makes a great point. These guys are walking into elite teams.
Yeah.
We've got poor guys that are looking around going, oh God, hang on a minute, who's playing this weekend?
Another one. Elite. I mean, imagine if Terry had a Mahomes. Just imagine that. Just imagine what he would get. He'd be getting 2,000 yards a season.
Easy. It'd be well on there.
No one gets that. Even Jefferson this year, and he got about 1,800, I think. Yeah. And you say he's probably the number one this year receiver. I think Terry beats that.
I would too.
If he had an elite quarterback, an elite team.
Yeah.
Don't see a reason why he wouldn't.
So the minute you're saying Fuller's gone, Logan Thomas is gone, you're like, hang on a minute. I know. This is either going to have to be a very good draft or a good free agency, or we're in the shit already, and we haven't even got the.
And don't forget, we've only got 45 mil to spend.
We've only got 47. And
45, whatever.
You're looking at the games we've got next season. We all said this season's schedule was easy. Look at next season's schedule.
Crazy.
It's grim.
Come on, man.
It is grim, man.
And if you're going into it with a tight end, that you pulled out the draft,
John Bates and whatever's tight end one.
You've got John Bates as tight end one. You've got rid of Antonio Gibson. You've got Sam Alfing sitting there all of a sudden thinking, hang on a minute, Jesus, I'm a rookie here, but I'm. This is the tools you're giving me to work with, and that's Washington in a nutshell.
Yeah,
and then look at the offensive line. We haven't even spoke about that yet.
Well, let me get to that. Let me get to that. Let me get to that.
You know what I mean?
So we've got Bobby McCain, who's also a 2.3 million cap hit. Now he's probably one who could go for me. I think we're good with Derek Forrest and
I think he's a decent depth piece,
Curl.
actually. I'd
He's still a
rather keep him.
depth piece.
At 2.5 mil, I'd rather keep him. Do you know what I mean? He's not like ridiculous money.
Derek
got
Forrest is a player, by the way.
Yeah, he is. We knew that on day one.
We knew that. When he done that,
we laid that boom.
Who laid the wood there? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was nice.
Mate. And he developed over, and he got better as the season went on.
Yeah, I just think if he doesn't have Curl with him, he's not as effective.
Yeah.
But understandable. Curl's elite. Do you know what I mean? So I can understand why.
And then we've got two. We've got two here who are ready for cuts. We've got Andrew Norwell, 2.3 mil. See ya.
Fucking, I'll drive him wherever he wants to go.
Scouts hate him.
You can't stand him.
I mean, I reckon I could play left guard better than him. Honest to God, man. He runs the wrong way. You know, it's a run to the right. The play call is a run to the right. He runs left. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but he's got L&R wrote on his hands. He has to look at his hands first. Go Scooby. What?
This is a Pro Bowl. This is a former Pro Bowl guard. Oh,
he's got L&R wrote on his hands.
But why is he doing shit like that? Why is he running the wrong schema? Why is he running the wrong play? He's obviously an idiot. He's obviously passed it and done. Get rid of him.
The last one on the list is Chase Roulier, 4 million cap hit. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with that with regards to his
I would like to keep him, but he's injury prone. That's the problem. Can you rely on him?
He'll play 3 games a season.
He's 4 mil cap hit.
Yeah, 4 mil. See you later. For me, he's gone.
So if we did all that and we cut them all, we'd be left with about 47 million to go into free agency with. Bearing in mind,
we're keeping Charles Leno. Are we keeping Charles Leno then? Are we keeping Charles Leno, by the way?
He's a massive cap hit. I think he's just over 8 million. You can't leave that in dead cap. Not for me.
No, that's dead cap. Yeah.
But he's crap.
But he would be a good number 2.
Yeah, he'd be a good swing tackle.
My plan that I'll talk about in a bit. Yeah. So Holly, you're saying that if we cut all those guys you mentioned,
all of them,
we've only got 47 million to play with.
Yep.
I thought that was included. I thought there was 8 million and 4 million to be added onto that 47.
No, that's 47 in total.
This is what I'm saying. Who are you getting for that money?
Yeah.
No, but 47. But you're saying that, but 47 million is actually a lot of money.
But the thing is, though, because Derek Carr isn't, though, is it? If you trade with Derek Carr, that's 35 of it gone.
Yeah, but
you see what I mean.
But you're saying that it's not 30. That's not 35.
This is why you got to take Sam Howell up and even on his rookie deal. So not go with a veteran QB.
What you could do is
be the same 35. You actually restructured him. That's why.
What you could say is you could say, right, well, I'm going to sign this top, like Orlando Brown Jr. Let's just say we're going to get him as our left tackle.
He's part of my plan. Yeah.
He's got on the market. He's about 14 million a year, is what they're saying, right?
Nah, he's elite. So he's a left tackle.
He's probably going to want 18 thereabouts.
And the rest 25, 26.
Trent Williams money he's going to want.
But the way you want to structure the contract depends. It comes out of that 47. So you could say, right, I'm going to give you 15 million up front. The rest of it is going to be
that's where the signing bonus is.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
the problem is you've got Dan Snyder who might go, nah, I'm not going to pay the check.
Or you've got Jeff Bezos. It's just like, yep, right, you're in.
Yeah. How much? 20 mil funds? Yeah, no worries, lad. You know what I mean?
He's got that in his back pocket.
Yeah. So when he earns that by the amount of time he takes in to take a shit. He earns 20 million. That's how rich he is.
What's really interesting?
Fucking hell, I'm glad Hartley don't get paid the amount of shits he has.
That's true.
10 shit.
But what's really
we don't call him 10 shits Hartley for nothing.
Getting reamed on my own podcast is terrible. Anyway,
I bet Jesse's listening to this somewhere. Absolutely wet himself.
He will be. But no, in all seriousness, it's one of them strange ones. It's actually that 47 million would put us in the 5th highest cap space in the entire NFL. Which is mad. It's mad. But looking at it, if you look at the other teams in the NFC East, this is why the Eagles have to win now because they've got so many players coming up on contract.
They're losing so much money. They're losing half that team.
They are. It's ridiculous. But
Super Bowl winner as well. Imagine they win the Super Bowl. They can go.
I'll take that. Winning a Super Bowl and then you know what I mean. I'll take that. If your team won a Super Bowl, all right, yeah, you know, when as Washington fans, they'll be like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? This is the problems other organisations have. It's like, oh well, we just won a Super Bowl, but now our team's gone. Oh, fuck it, I'd die for that.
I know, but look at the Rams. This is the classic example of what you can go from to what you can become.
Oh yeah,
when you don't play with the cap
it
space.
can work fast. It can work fast as well.
Yeah, the Rams have literally just gone.
They've plummeted,
and they've got elite. You talk about McVay being elite. You know, as a head coach, didn't do much this year, did he? Still had some good players there, but didn't do much, did he?
Aaron Donald the same. You know,
yeah, he was injured most of the season. I don't know how the hell he got in the Pro Bowl and the All Pro when he played about 3 games all year. It's totally out of order. That totally out of order.
I can't wait to watch him play flag football.
Exactly. Anyway,
he's injured. He's not even going to be there. That's why Payne's going.
It is.
Oh yeah,
he's Payne is the alternate. Yeah, because Payne is the alternate.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's where we're going to struggle. I read the report today saying that what was it on? It's quite NBC Washington or something like that. They were all saying Payne's out the door. He's gone, and I'm like, please no. And I've read this more than once today. You know, I said I'm trying to stay away from Washington news, but I think it was NBC Washington.
I mean, what do you do with that? Do you try and sign him for 18 mil? Because that's what he's going to want. It's close to that tag money.
Tag him,
keep him, or tag him and trade him.
I'd tag him and keep him. You can't.
So one more year then. So you get one more year rental, and that's it. He's gone.
It's hard, but it's hard.
You get nothing for him.
It is. It's kind of.
You get a comp pick, don't you? You get a comp pick, and that's about it. But yeah,
end of the third round.
Put it this way: can we afford not to have? Can we afford not to have him on our team next season?
All depends on which area. Mathis.
Yeah, it depends on how much you love that dude and how good. Because obviously, Ridgeway had played well this year. I thought, as a rotational piece. But exactly, it's a big risk. Exactly, but you get what you pay for. Like I mentioned before, you want the quality dudes. You've got to pay the dollar.
Wherever he goes, he's going to be amazing.
And then the other thing is, if we don't sort out of this 47 million I've just talked about, if we don't sort out contracts again in this off season, we are in cap nightmares next year. We've got potentially the time where we're going to look to start to pay Chase Young. We have to pay Montez Sweat. That's his final year. And Cameron Curl's coming in his final year. Now, you don't lock Cameron Curl up this year.
He's going to want some serious.
He's going to test the market. He's definitely not going to stay.
Dollar. He was. I mean, PFF. He was classed as number 2 or number 3. He was injured for
number
3 games.
Yeah, number 2 in the entire league.
That's how good that dude is.
He'll want elite of the elite money.
Oh yeah. I think the elite money is about 12 to 13 mil per year.
Yeah, it's there or thereabouts.
For kind of safeties,
And like you said, he's going to test the market because if we don't show any interest of improvement,
if we don't show him the love this off season, it'll be like, well, why should I stay here? I'll just play my last season and then see what I can get out there. Where if you come into the off season now and go, look, Cam, we love you, want to keep you. Here's a little extra. Do you see what I mean? Like bang bang, and you never know. You might.
But it's hard. Like we said at the start, though, it's so hard for us right now. Lame duck coach. Don't know what's going on with the off the field.
You can never have too many good players, though.
Yeah, but everything we do right now in this off season is difficult. Until we get everything sorted and you get all your ducks in a row, everything for us is hard right now. Every decision we make is difficult. And what normal NFL teams would be called as a basic decision, in Washington, you can quadruple that with everything that we've got going on. You guys know better than anyone. You've supported this team long enough. And unfortunately, it all comes back to that. Every discussion we have, we could talk about offensive line, defensive. We could talk about wide receivers. We could talk about quarter. Everything comes back. We could talk about salary cap. All comes back. We have to get our shit sorted off the field. The quicker that shit gets sorted, the quicker, as an organization, Ron Rivera, Jason Wright, Marty Herney, all them guys can sit down and go, right, now we can actually plan. Because they can say they're planning until they're blue in the face. And, and I love Jason, and he come on our show and said, we sit down and me and Ron Rivera talk about a 3-year plan. Till everything is done with this organization, nothing will get permanently sorted. And we could be square pegs, round holes for one more season.
Agreed.
Yeah. Could easily go that way,
Andy, you've been on a podcast with us for a good 25 minutes now, so appreciate your time. But for those who don't know you, obviously, give us a little bit. I know. Where have you been hiding?
To be fair, I don't know him. You know what I mean?
Nah.
Do you want to just give us a little bit of your backstory then about what you're doing, with regards to the bunker, your other interests, and let us know. Let them know out there in the Twitter sphere and those who are watching online and those who are downloading the podcast, what are you really about and why you fell in love with this team then?
Well, yeah, for those that don't know, obviously a lot of people know my story. I spent some time out in Washington in 1998. I spent some time out in Washington in 1998, fell in love with the team, the family that I was staying with then. But then Washington Redskins fans just asked me one day if I wanted to watch football. I assumed we were watching soccer, and no, we were watching American football. So just fell in love with the team in the late 90s. And I've said this many times, Dan Snyder had literally just become owner. I think like the month after I landed in DC, I was living in Martinsburg, West Virginia at the time. This new guy just taken over this franchise. You know, everyone was like, "This is a great franchise, solid history. I really like it." And I just grew to love the game. Season after season, year after year, I learned as much as I could about it. Obviously, like you guys know, the content over here in the UK wasn't great in the 90s, but now
it was pants, man.
Yeah, now we've pretty much got the same content as our good friends across the pond, across the water there in America. And then fast forward to the pandemic, I'm proud to be part of the DC Tweet team. Maurice was like, "Look, maybe we should just start a podcast." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I've never done it before. I mean, my knowledge is limited. I don't know loads about the NFL, but you know, as you guys know, I can talk for England, and I don't shut up that often." So I sat down with my mobile, with my cell phone in the bedroom during the pandemic, and started a podcast, the DC Tweet Team. I'm pleased to see that the DC Tweet Team podcast is still going now with Maurice. That lasted a couple of years.
That's how I got to like.
Yes, and then I met
in the first place, you know. So
yeah, I'm very, very proud to be part of the DC Tweet Team. I still am part of the organization, and I go to the meetups and like you say. So yeah, I started a podcast with Maurice, and I was with Shelley as well. I met you guys through the podcast world, and then the DC Tweet Team podcast. We just couldn't figure out our scheduling. It was all a bit, we couldn't quite get it right with times and stuff. Obviously, people know I live over in the UK. And Freddie Ham was just finishing up with HTWR with Maddie Jane. And me and him were like, "Look, why don't we start a podcast? We'll try and record on like the weekends for the times." And that's how we started the Bunker podcast with me and Freddie. And it's gone from strength to strength. It's literally podcasting. I've said this a few times. Podcasting has changed my life, I'm fortunate to call you two of my best friends in the whole wide world now. You know what I mean? I've had friends growing up my whole life, like close friends, and you two are in my circle of close friends now. We speak all the time. We've been lucky enough to go out to Washington. Us three have met Jason Wright. We've stood on the field. We've had a private tour of FedEx, all because we've started podcasting and we've started a love of the team so far away. And it's given me so much podcasting in the NFL. And, I know we sit here and talk about the team a lot. Outside of football, it's given me, mate, I've been to Edinburgh, hosted a draft party. I've been out, you guys have come down to my house. We've been out for weekends. We've been to America. It's more than football, this team. And I've said this many times, as bad as we are on the field, I think we do have the best community of fans off the field. And I truly mean that. And I get it. I speak to many UK guys that host a podcast for the Giants and the Eagles, and I get on really well with them. But I think our community of fans, Washington should be so proud to have them, because let's be honest, what they've been putting on the field since since I've been in 98 has been terrible. Hasn't been very good. So to have the community that we now have, and that's what I take out more. I love Sundays and I love watching football, but I take out more of the community side of it. I get to call you two friends and we speak about things that football. We talk about our football. We meet up at weekends. We talk about everything. So for me, it's given me everything, mate. And I get to come and now see you two start your own podcast.
Yeah, you planted that seed, mate. You planted the seed, and
it's incredible. And again, you're flying the flag for the UK, and to see you two doing what you're doing, you've set up a great YouTube channel. You know what I mean? You're getting people interacting with you on social media. That will open, and you never know what doors could open. I don't ever want a job with the Washington Commanders. I don't ever want a job, but you just never know what could happen and where it will lead you. And podcasting and the Washington Redskins /Commanders have led us to this point right here, mate. So yeah, I mean, I'm so proud to call myself a Washington fan for off the field right now. And if we can mirror that and get things right on the field, mate, we'll all be on a plane. And
just imagine the parties, though. Just imagine the parties if we even got anywhere near the Super Bowl.
I see. Did you guys watch the Sky Sports coverage last week when they were?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, with the Jags.
Could you imagine just having that full of Washington fans in that bar? I think they were somewhere in London. I don't know where they were.
Yeah.
Manchester. They were in Manchester.
And that's the bar we're going to for our draft party.
There you go.
I
was watching that and I was thinking, man, if we can get this right, because I was at the London game, I was at the Barrow Boy and Banker in that pub, thousands of Washington fans crammed into one place. It was, so it's there, and the fan base, the DMV, I know sometimes can be a bit hard of an area, and I understand why the fans are upset over there. But if you can mirror the UK and the European market and the American market, if we could just get our shit sorted on the field. Oh my God, man! We've got such a great fan base.
It's a genuine sleeping giant, isn't it?
That term is used so much, but we genuinely are.
Really are.
I think who did I speak to? I think I spoke Tim Meek, and if you listen to what he said, Twitter is just like 2% of our fan base.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
2% of our fan base. We just see it because we use it every day. It's our platform. This fan base is worldwide. You've got the European market. You've got, I know fans in the street. We've done a podcast with a guy in Australia.
Exactly.
Come on, man. The market is there. Look what the UK Jags are doing now. They've set up their own UK Jags fan club, fan base. It's enormous. The potential for the Washington Commanders worldwide is huge. Not just talking about us. We just host a podcast. You could do so many things with this organization. But again, even this comes back to get everything right. Get it right, and the fans are there. We are, like Maurice has always said to me, we are dying for success. That's why we moan so much when we get hammered in games, or when we don't, because this team doesn't want to hear, oh, we're rebuilding again. We're looking 2 years down the line. The draft in 2 years, by the way, is really good at QBs. No, I don't want to hear that, because all I've ever known is crap. I want us to win now, and I make no apologies for wanting that. Every Sunday I sit there year after year, and now the last 2-3 years, us three have sat there texting each other going, here we go again. I make no apologies for wanting. I make no apologies for going on Twitter rants on a Sunday, because I use this term a lot. I've seen this movie. I know how it ends. I'm sick and tired of watching this same movie. I describe us as the Fast and Furious franchise. We've gone on for too long now. It's the same crap every movie. You know what I mean? Andy's right. We're sleeping giants, guys. We really, really are. But again, we get it right off the field. But as far as me, mate, I'm so proud to call myself a Commanders fan. Proud to just play a tiny bit in the UK market, and now to have you guys on board, it just just proves how well we're doing as a country. I'm proud to be a UK Commanders fan.
Brilliant.
Yeah, 100%, man.
I've got 3 quick fire questions for you, Andy. So, is there a game that you would want to go to, or that you can think of off the top of your head that you think, wow, yeah, I really want to watch that one again? What's your all-time favorite game? If
Dallas away Thanksgiving, when we absolutely hammered them.
Is it still on your DVR?
Dude, that game is never leaving.
The VCR.
Yeah, I'm that old. It's a VCR. Yeah, BMX for me. But that game, I remember watching that game. It was a Thanksgiving game. I got in from work early. I was like, oh God, we're playing. And then we absolutely trounced them. And
is that the Gibson Wave one?
Yeah,
isn't it?
Dude, man, if I could go back and live a day again, or even be in the stadium to watch that game, that's the one game for me. I mean, I'm 43, but like you said, our fandom is still relatively young. We can't go back to the glory days of the RFKs So for me, just games like that. I think we played the Eagles at home in one game where D-Jack's done his little backward step into the end zone, or Alfred Morris ran all over Dallas. There was a couple of games there where he was one of my favorite players. But the Dallas of Thanksgiving, dude, oh my God, I screamed down my entire street.
What about who's your favorite player on the roster currently then? Are we saying Logan Thomas?
Logan.
It's still your boy. It's still your boy.
I'm loyal, man. I love myself. So I've always been a tight end guy. Terry's the easy answer, because everyone loves Terry. But I liked the 2020 Logan Thomas. For me, was like, wow. I was like, sheesh, look at us having a tight end that can score touchdowns and can block. I know he kind of got an injury. Injury plays such a big part in the NFL, but for me, I've always been Logan Thomas guy. He's my favorite player, and we fucking charge, boys. If we trade him, I'm going to be devastated.
We get traded, maybe.
No, trade. Sorry, if we cut him, I'm going to be devastated. But yeah, Logan, Terry. I I'm a big AG. I liked him, man. I backed him when he was having all them issues. I really backed him because I could see something in this kid. I really can. But for me, Logan Thomas, to answer your question, mate, I love the dude.
Do you know my favourite player is?
Go on.
My favourite player is currently?
Go on.
Andrew Norwell. Man, fuck off. Get rid of that fucking bum.
Favorite player of all time.
all time.
I was a big Djax fan because obviously when I got into Djax is for me is one of my favorite players. Ryan Kerrigan I kind of got on him a little bit at the end of his career at Washington. I was like, well, we don't really see him, but when he was the man in Washington, Alfred Morris for me. I haven't got one I can pin down and say, do you know what? I just think of moments. Djax, Alfred Morris for me was amazing. I can just see myself sinking back into that 2012 season where I was like, man, we are good. This is what it feels like to be an actual NFL fan. But Djax for me, man, jeez, man, I love that dude. And he's still kicking around the league now somewhere. I don't know what he's
he was. Where was he
now.
Last? I can't even remember where
he left. The
he was at the Rams. He was at the Rams last.
So DJ Alfred Morris though, man, Kerrigan, Morris, all them guys, Trent Williams. Love them dudes, but yeah, man, Trent was my guy when all that happened. Again, I haven't really got not one person that really stands out for me, but Djax for me, I like that. I'm a tight end guy and I'm a wide receiver guy. So Djax back in the day, man, I don't think that you can't name me many players quicker than him when he was.
No,
boy, when we had a team that year as well. By the way, we had a team.
We did.
So. Djax for me, mate. Yeah.
So we'll move on then and we'll review the divisional games. We'll review the divisional games. So we'll start off, we have the Eagles versus the Giants, a 38-7 win for the Eagles. We have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Jags, which is a 27-7 win for Kansas City. A Buffalo Bills and the Bengals, and that was a 10-27 win for the Bengals. And then a 19-12 win for the 49ers against the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? What was your standout?
Are you still them boys? Yeah.
What was your standout?
Them boys, it's our year. It's our year, boys. It's them boys. It's our year this year, boys.
You're on the couch just like us, bro. You're on the couch watching just like us. All right. Behave.
What was your standout game, and did you watch any of them? I'll go to you.
Mahomes playing on one leg. Jesus.
I thought that was insane, to be fair. I mean, I don't know. High ankle sprain. I mean, exactly the same injury happened to Pollard in the Dallas game, and he got carted off. Mahomes carried on playing. I mean, that was just ridiculous, to be fair. So risky on your $50 million man. Unbelievable. But he did enough, didn't he? He did enough to win, which you gutted out, which is great. But he is your prime merchandise. If he gets hurt, mate, goodbye. See you later. They're going nowhere for years even. So,
well, weirdly enough, I've seen him this week, and I've seen the press conferences that he's done. And he looks he looks like he's fine. He was doing
Mahomes. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah. Mahomes, he was doing warm ups on Wednesday, and he looked okay. And I'm like,
well, no, I saw some warm-ups, mate. He wasn't even jogging. Like it was just like,
obviously, Andy,
stretches.
It's the industry you're in. How long should he be out with that injury? And like, I was amazed when he come back on the field. I was like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, minimum 4 to 6 weeks, minimum.
And he was trying out for the third quarter.
Yeah, exactly. He came back in about half an hour later. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, mate, what are you doing? I mean, this guy's he's your $50 million guy. He's your golden child. Like, what are you doing? I understand it's a big game. I understand.
Well, now he's saying I haven't seen much NFL news.
He won't be running.
Obviously, Hartley's saying. Do you reckon he'll play this Sunday?
Yeah, I do.
I think he'll play, and I think it's stupid. Yeah, but if he on one leg again, he won't be able to run.
Don't need to when you've got an arm like him, do you?
I suppose.
He is also very. He doesn't get a lot of credit for his escapability, but he's very good at escaping as well. But he won't be able to be this week.
You've got Kansas City's run game as well. Here you go. Just hand the ball off.
Exactly. For me, the standout game for me was the Bills versus the Bengals. I mean, how good the Bengals were. They were unbelievable. The Bills I don't know what it was with the Bills, whether they were just overpowered. They just didn't seem to want to turn up. And then you're looking at that game, and we were previewing the game on our last show, and we have 3 offensive linemen out for the Bengals, a center and 2, a guard and a right tackle, and you're like, this is a beat up team.
You think in pain, yeah, but
they were
class.
brilliant. They and the offensive line were brilliant. So even
I was loving it because you know how many people couldn't spell Burrow. They were typing Burrows as fast.
I know.
The legend that is Burrows. yeah.
But I'm with Scotty. That was a great game, man. So,
definitely 100%.
The conditions they were playing in as well.
The snow. Everyone loves a snow game, don't they? Everyone loves watching a snow game.
But I think that's all on attitude, though. Attitude and coaching.
Yeah.
For those 3 starting guys to be out all at once, and then to still get a quality performance from the backups in a game like that against a very good team he played against. Ed Oliver's quality DT. There's loads of dudes on that. There's some dudes on there on that Buffalo defense.
Milano's class. You know what I mean?
And they handled it like it was a standard game. I mean, I was really impressed.
I think for me that just cemented Joe Burrow's place to say that he is Burrow. That's what I said. Jim. His place as an elite quarterback. There's no doubt about it. He is.
Oh, he was elite last season, man.
He was, but sometimes you could have said
it takes a season, doesn't it? It takes a season to learn to play. Again, like we said at the start of the show, it's so hard to jump from the college game to the NFL game. And like Scott just said it, he was very good last season. This season now, again, he's looked at, he's got his head in his book again and gone, right. He's gone to and you've only got to watch him now to say, bye, this boy is studied. He knows every nuance, every play, everything.
His best skill is actually decision making.
Yeah,
he just knows where to go with it every single time. It doesn't matter who's with pressure coming up your face or on the side.
He'll know when to get rid of the ball as well.
He just knows what he's doing every time. His decision making's excellent.
And he's quick as well.
I
didn't realize how quick he was.
Yeah,
don't forget. We nearly ruined his career.
No, Chase Young.
First season, we blew his ACL on him, didn't we? Chase Young, when he blew his ACL on him,
right on the goal line, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the conference championship games then? So we've got the Eagles hosting the 49ers and we've got the Chiefs hosting the Bengals.
You know what? I think the Bengals are going to win.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are going to win.
Because like what Andy says, Mahomes he's not even going to be 60% when he's out on that field. I think it'll be a Bengals 49ers Super Bowl.
I think that's where I would go with it as well. I hope the Eagles lose. But I don't know how long this Brock Purdy train's going to keep going.
What a story, though, man. Just proves, though, and like I had NFL Network on yesterday, just proves that you can do all the mock drafts and talk about the draft as much as you like. Just proves that you can go and get a Brock Purdy, a la Tom Brady, not quite that ilk. I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady, but you just never know. Like Andy said earlier, you could go and we've got some great players out of the 6th and 7th round in the draft. You know what I mean? So all this hype Cam Curl, yes, like, well, we're drafting him in the first round and the second. It just goes to show it doesn't mean as much as people put on it. Because this Purdy story, if he went on to win the Super Bowl, could be one of the great. They'll make a movie out of it.
Yeah,
Disney Plus will be like this right now.
Oh yeah.
What's your thoughts, Scouse?
The rest are all like this as well, probably. Bribe me now, boys. Bribe me now. That's what they do all the time. Scumbags.
What's your thoughts, then, mate? What you say? What are you saying?
Me, I agree with the Bengals. I think they're gonna find a way. They just keep finding a way, and they are good enough. Like they weren't scared of Buffalo, and I think that was like really impressive. And like it was away. It was bloody freezing. It was definitely Buffalo weather, snow, all the rest of it. And he took care of business. You know, they did it in a good, like a convincing manner. So for me, they will go to the Chiefs and do the same thing. I think they'll win. It'll be tight. I think we're within one score, but I think they'll get it. And for me, well, we got to hope the Eagles fucking don't win this. We can't have them going on about they're in the Super Bowl again. Well, we can't be doing that as fans, mate. No chance. So for me, it's got to be the Niners, and the Niners are the only ones. The Niners are the ones. Well, we thought. Well, to be fair, I said that the Giants would do the same style of play that we did when we went to Philadelphia and beat them. Because let's face it, they've only lost once with Hurts as quarterback this season. That was against us, right? So, and I was at their ground as well. We did it the way it had to be done, and we won it that way. And that's what they've got to do. And the Niners can do it that way because they've got the players to do exactly what we just did to them that way. So keep it out of Purdy's hands. He wasn't that good. He wasn't that good last week. He wasn't that good. But his team helped him out enough to make it look like he still won the game. So he is getting found out a little bit. They are getting onto him. So it's just a bit like,
he probably didn't think he was going to be playing in the championship. He probably thought, I'll come in for a few games. Now he's probably looking around going, "Oh my god."
Yeah, well, there's film on him now. You see, that's the other thing, isn't it? It's like the Howell thing, isn't it? For us, he played one game, no one knew what he was going to do, and he lit up Dallas, the first team, which is amazing. But as soon as you start getting tape on him, you got 4 or 5 games, you can watch him, you go, nuance. And
once you start moving him out of the pocket as well, that's where I think in this game specifically, he might be like, "Oh, Jesus." Once, at the minute, like you said, Andy, he got away with it a lot last week. And he did get away with it. But I noticed that as well. When he moves outside the pocket.
Did a few Heineke throws, you know what I mean? Like two should have been picked and never was.
But you can see his mind working, thinking, right, I probably know I should throw this away, but I'm doing a Heineke. I'm going hero football. And we all know how that ends. You know what I mean? So once he's out that pocket, I think this weekend's where he's going to have to smarten up quick.
And the Eagles pass rush is good. Do you know what I mean?
They'll be coming for it. Dude, they're coming for him, man. They're coming for him nearly every play.
They're going to tail it. But they've got a great offensive line. No, they've got great two excellent tackles. One's a Hall of Famer, and McGlinchey on the right side is just class as well.
Free agent.
And he's a free agent, and I'd love to get him if you
don't even think
come here. I'd love to get him, but unlikely.
Have you two been drinking?
I think so, yeah. All right, gents, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much for being on with us this week, Andy. Really, really appreciate you coming on. You obviously planted the seed. We can't thank you enough for what you do. You've been obviously a great friend to both me and Scouse. Please stick doing what you're doing. You're ripping it up with Dunstable Town and, everything else that you're doing out there. I know Dunstable's got its own American fan base
BBC
now,
as well, BBC and all that.
BBC, you're out there now. You're out there. You're doing your thing. You're doing fantastic work, and I really, really appreciate your friendship and you being on this podcast with us. Scouse, as always, you've been a superstar. Thanks for being on here with me, keeping me sane and giving me some laughs for an hour.
Me this week as well. That's what
mate, don't worry about it.
This week,
life is always more important than a podcast, mate.
Football will always be here, mate. Always
exactly.
Football's never going anywhere, bro.
So our socials and all of our details are on after the pod. You'll get that in about 30 seconds. Andy, if you want to just plug your socials as well, mate, for anyone who wants to follow you.
Yeah, what are we? At Commander Bunker? At Commander Bunker. Mine is at Washington UKFC, but I don't know. Just tag me in this post.
I will do.
Washington UK.
I think you are. I think you're Washington UK fan. I think you are.
Yeah, go and follow at Commander Bunker. That's where they are. That's where the real stuff happens.
All right, gents. Thanks very much for being on with us, and we'll be on next week.
Yeah,
thanks, everyone.